Hello, everyone, and welcome to a successful coach case study on Sir Alex Ferguson. Before I begin, I would like to propose a question for the class, and feel free to type your answers in the chat. And so, what do you guys think are 3 attributes that makes a coach successful? Sir Alex Ferguson is one of the greatest leaders in the realm of football, or what we would call it in North America, soccer. He was the mastermind of one of Britain's leading brands, the football club Manchester United. In 26 years, Sir Alex transformed Manchester United into a multi-million-pound global business, picking up every single domestic trophy there is in football along the way. His leadership is unique in the history of world football. BBC political editor Nick Robinson gets up close and personal with Sir Alex and uncovers the secrets of his success. Sir Alex shares his unique insights on leadership that speaks to everyone, revealing how he stayed on top of his profession for so long, and crucially, how best to motivate, discipline, and inspire people. Sir Alex also reflects on the nature of legacy and life after leaving the stage with Manchester United, and how his approach to leadership has found resonance beyond the world of football. Sir Alex Ferguson is a former Scottish football coach. After several successful manager stages in Scotland, he was hired to manage Manchester United from 1986 until his retirement in 2013. He was regarded as one of the greatest football managers of all time. During his 26 years with Manchester United, he won 49 trophies, 13 of which were Premier League titles, 5 FA Cups, 10 Community Shields, 4 League Cups, 2 Champions League trophies, a World Club Cup, a Super Cup, and a Cup Winners' Cup. These are just 37 of the 49 he's won. Also, he was knighted in 1999 by the Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, come on, what more do you want in a guy? Like seriously, who has enough space in their house to put all that metal in there? It's difficult to pinpoint one exact facet of Ferguson that enabled him to bring so much success to Manchester United. With that being said, we'll be going over his coaching philosophy.
Now moving on to the coaching philosophy, on the side we have some keywords that stand out. It was his coaching philosophy that made him one of the best, if not the best football coach of all time. Rather than focusing on short-term qualities of building a winning team, he focused on continually building the club, evolving with time, and winning. A big part of his philosophy was discipline. The players had to be disciplined by putting the club first and adhering to what he tells them. He also speaks passionately about wanting to instill leadership values in his players, and more than giving them technical skills, he wanted to inspire them to strive to do better and to never give up. In other words, to make them winners. As a result, his team was aggressive, dominant, and resilient, and overall his philosophy was a mixture of tactics and style. In the documentary, Alex Ferguson said, "From the moment I got to Manchester United, I thought of only one thing, building a football club. I wanted to build it right from the bottom. That was in order to create fluency and continuity of supply to the team. With this approach, the players would all grow." From this quote, it's evident that he had a vision of developing young players who grew up with the club, who loved the club, and who had a spirit to take the club to a different level. Something else we wanted to hit on was the coaching attributes, as they played a major role in his greatness as a leader. He was the kind of coach that led by example, as he was always the first person in the building and the last one out, which set the standard for how the rest of the team should act. He also made sure his players knew that being a good person is what comes first. He was always there for his players, and that's what separated him from other coaches. He was also self-confident, as he had the right knowledge and skills to run Manchester United. His past experiences allowed him to lead the club, and he knew he was capable of doing so. It was his self-confidence and drive that made people follow and trust him. Additionally, he was a great communicator. Clearly, there was something special about Sir Alex Ferguson's coaching style and philosophy, and while watching the documentary, a couple of things stood out to us. As the manager, he learned a lot by simply observing and listening to his team. We found this interesting as it seemed to help in many situations, such as listening to the rivals, to what they were saying in the case they dropped any information on upcoming players. Also in the documentary, the players told stories of times when they had experienced his anger. This was interpreted as the hairdryer, which is when he would get in the players' faces and yell so loud it looked like there was a hairdryer in front of their face instead. Whether or not a calm approach would have worked better, is arguable, but we think taking the angrier route helped in many instances. Despite all the amazing aspects of Sir Alex Ferguson, we found that some things could have been better. With that being said, he tended to act quickly when he saw a player become a negative influence, and this could have been seen as acting impulsively.
We feel that Sir Alex Ferguson's philosophy relates and fits in perfectly with the Venn diagram Chantal used to illustrate her point that philosophy is part of your overall vision. Each of these three attributes plays a key role in the development of your goals and vision for your team. Planning and management. If you're a leader and you're disorganized, it will be difficult to achieve your vision because you'll never have a clear, constructed plan thought out. Individual growth. Every leader is in tune with their personal development of who they are taking care of. This is true for both themselves and their players. Everybody is different and everybody's needs are different. A good leader is able to recognize that immediately and take control and figure out what should be done to fit those needs. Characteristics. Who you are and what you become is the key to a successful leadership. Good people make good role models, leaders, and coaches. Ferguson's philosophy encompassed all three of these attributes, which contributed to his overall vision and ultimate success for Manchester United. As mentioned in the class notes, there is a behavioral spectrum of what makes a successful coach, and how successful you're likely to be based on what end of the spectrum you fall. When we discussed this together, the general consensus was that a strong coach is all over the spectrum, never staying on one area for too long, depending on the situation at hand. It's not simply one or the other, or black or white. A strong coach must be able to adapt their behavior according to what's going on in front of them in that moment. Depending on the nature of the situation, you may have to make a decision which will either exhibit stern behavior or compassionate behavior. This isn't always the most likable behavior either, but a good coach knows that it's not always about making friends. You also have to make the hard decisions. One of the many characteristics that makes Sir Alex Ferguson such a great coach was his ability to assess the ever-changing situations that were at hand and act quickly and accordingly. Ferguson was able to place himself on all sides of the spectrum with confidence. The major takeaways to Ferguson's philosophy were to always be thinking long-term, to never stop adapting, set high standards, be consistent in imposing discipline, embrace your entire team, and never cede control. In summary, Sir Alex Ferguson was a magnificent coach who had a very successful career, not only because of his many game-winning titles, but because of what he put into winning those titles. The lessons he taught his players, the relationships he built with them, and everyone involved with Manchester United has not been forgotten.